as a hobby, and then you can shut them down by getting on their level. But yeah, anyways.
Yeah, the only thing that I would add to what you said is a focus on microaggressions as a problem ignores the progress that mentioning microaggressions obviously points out. If we've gone past the macro problems and we're down to measuring micro problems, microaggressions, I think that we've already made some significant progress. I actually think anyone that is focused on a microaggression is purposely missing the bigger point. There are challenges and big things that we have to figure out. The threats to America you guys are voting on. It's funny to see out of 52 votes, 39% said that debt is the biggest threat. 29% say that it's Islamic extremism. 22% say white supremacy. Although the people that say white supremacy, for whatever reason, they vote and then they leave the room. And then communism at 12%. I don't know if this is the exact order that would reflect, a larger sample size, but I am happy with the idea that the debt is recognized as the number one threat to America. What is Marv saying? Marv is saying, no respect from the jump and wonders why no solutions can be talked about. He's the guy that I asked multiple times, what's your solution? And he decided to not do it. Still gay, staring at another man's profile pic. I don't know what that means. White people love acting like they never cause problems. I think a lot of people cause problems. I mean, Marv caused a problem on the stage and doesn't want to own up to it. No accountability. Let's see. Joss is saying microaggressions don't keep me from getting the bag. Gilda says, put your solution in the chat, Marv. Elizabeth says Islamic extremism. Check. Okay. All right. On that note, Elizabeth, I don't think it's a religion. I think it's a cult. Matter of fact, I think it's a pedophile death cult. The Prophet Muhammad was pedophile, married a 6-year-old girl, fucked her when she was 9. But some of you guys think there's no problem with that. Baseball card curmudgeon says, need to act black fatigue to the poll. I only have 4 choices. I would have added more. Marv says all lives matter in quotation marks, and he's laughing. I don't even know who he's fucking speaking to. Dr. Adams says noisy white women cause the most problems. If they're progressive, that's probably true. Marv says everyone causes problems. Ducking once again. Some problems bigger than others. Elizabeth says legacy of conquest. Yep. And then Cowboy Honest says, hello, I'm from Africa. I need an honest woman from Western countries. Wow, that might be the most interesting thing I've seen in chat all day. Cowboy, please come to the stage. Young Zealous says, our presidents have, I think he meant to say pedophilia. I don't know what he's referring to there. But George says, dysgenics. Marv says, America based off slavery and racism, but yet white folks cause no problems that need fixed over other minority problems. Hurts your feelings too much to open that can of worms. Actually, no. I think the problem is that some people will ignore that the origins of this country, we did some diabolical shit, and that should be called out. I think you're right for pointing that out. But I think also people like yourself that don't recognize the progress that this country's made, specifically when it comes to race relations, if you don't recognize the progress, then you're a part of the current problem. And we did a room on are race relations better in 2025 than they were in 1960. And you had some really ignorant people that said, no, they've never improved. And then I would ask, well, what about if we compared 1860 to 2025? And they would say, no, it's always been bad. And so if you can't acknowledge that there's been improvement in race relations, then you are literally the biggest part of the current problem in race relations.
Because they're over skeptical, I guess, towards those things they don't recognize. But if you make the vice versa, like towards some of the Americans or white Americans or whatever, towards Arabian countries or different other countries, they're over skeptical towards those countries, and they're more favored. They favor themselves. So it's like a yin and yang, and like a alternate universe type of situation.